Bitcoin ETFs now control 651,628 Bitcoin as of this morning. So this is a terrifying amount of Bitcoin. It's going up. So despite all of the moving, despite all of the hitting the, the Bitcoin from GBTC hitting the market, despite all of that, it's going up. More Bitcoin is being held by ETFs. BlackRock is at $1 billion of AUM, assets under management. Fidelity is at $1 billion of AUM, assets under management. And this is just going to continue growing. You're looking at $150 to $300 million worth of daily purchasing demand that's coming in. Sure, there is a dip in the market right now because of the amount of selling pressure to happen. And by the way, I made two predictions. All of my predictions leading up to the ETF were absolutely correct. I made two predictions days before the ETF came out, and I said the first week I think we would have $3.5 billion worth of inflows, net inflows, and I said if that happened, the price would be $57,000 to $62,000. Completely and utterly wrong on those two predictions. And I've been reevaluating. One of the things that I've always done is when I have a thought and I have a prediction and I get it wrong, I always sit down and evaluate, like, okay, what happened in the market that made me wrong, because normally my predictions are based on math. So if these two things happened, then this would equal that. So I've been sitting around looking at what happened in the market and what did I get wrong. And tomorrow, Saturday the 20th of January, I'm going to release a video on my thoughts about why I got that wrong, what I misread in the market, etc., etc. So please subscribe so you don't miss that. And again, this is the type of information that people need to get on Bitcoin, because there's too many people out here doing the happy hippie stuff, and they're basically forgetting that the ETFs are now here. You're looking at $150 to $300 million a day worth of purchasing. The game has completely changed. And of course, as I've been saying, and I'm not stupid, I'm completely aware that the relevance of my get to one Bitcoin message is running out. Right? Now, a lot of people think it's going to run out in 2 years, 3 years. Everyone's doing the happy dance. Everyone's being, the usual thing. And they think that the time is just going to continue rolling forward. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to work like that. We're right now, it's January 19th, right? I think my message becomes irrelevant by December 2024, this year. December this year, my get to one Bitcoin message becomes irrelevant. Right? And here's the reason why. I think by the end of this year, you'll need over $100,000 to acquire one full Bitcoin, which means that you're probably going to need liquidity of at least $300,000 to feel safe making that $100,000 allocation. Which means if you need $300,000 of liquidity, your net worth is probably above $1 million. Right? So the time to actually accumulate one Bitcoin is running out. And again, my job is really to try and get as many of the people that fit the profile of the millionaire next door into Bitcoin and get to one Bitcoin as quick as possible, because those are the people who've been doing the hard work. Those are the people who have been spending all day, every day for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years trying to provide for their families and build a legacy that people can be proud of. And you're now going to get repriced because of Bitcoin. We got the real estate market tanking, right? And I don't think there's going to be much hope in that space. So and majority of that category's wealth is in real estate. And if you're listening to this and you're in that category, majority of your wealth is in real estate. And if you are contemplating, hey, what about Bitcoin? What do I need to have a look at this? The answer is yes, you need to have a look at it. If you've concluded that Bitcoin is irrelevant for your portfolio, for anything, if it's like, my cash position is in a place where I can't get access to Bitcoin, etc., that's a whole different scenario. We need to work on how do we actually get you to that point. But if it's like, oh, it's too complicated, oh, I don't know about it, oh, this, that, oh, this bullshit, whatever, then you're completely and utterly in the wrong. And I want to implore you to take the time to study Bitcoin right now, because my message of getting to one Bitcoin is going to become irrelevant. And listen, look, I don't care about the whole DCA, the $10 a month DCA gang and all these, everyone's telling everybody to DCA, and over time, it's urgent now. You got $150 million to $300 million a day worth of buying passive ETF flows that are coming in. You're not just competing with the $10 a month DCA gang, right? You're now competing with ETFs that have to make allocations over a period of time and have to make those purchases on a daily basis, right? Now, here's the thing. During this period, as we go forward, as these ETFs continue to grow, they own 651,000 Bitcoin. Fidelity and BlackRock are just charging forward like we've never seen anything like this before. Bloomberg analysts are shocked at how much demand there is for these ETFs. Everyone is terrified. You know, the only people that are not terrified is the Bitcoiners who are hoping for a pump after the ETF came out. So, and again, I'm going to do a video on why I was wrong about my two predictions around the inflows and the price in the first week after the ETF. So make sure you subscribe for that. But remember, right, during this period, my message is not going to change. My message of you needing to get to 1 Bitcoin is not going to change. But the number of people that are becoming slowly out of reach for receiving that message is going to change. And as that generally happens in society, as more people become out of reach from receiving a particular message and a particular benefit that they think they're going to get, the NPC chip turns on, right? It's like, oh, it's just so far away now, you know, and it's not really far away. Do you know how many messages I've gotten from people who have spent the last this bear market, getting to 1 Bitcoin, getting to 3 Bitcoin, getting to 4 Bitcoin? And these are people who are not, you know, having millions of dollars of assets. Right? The type of conversations I have with people with millions of dollars of assets, it's a different conversation now that the ETF has come out. But before, it's like these people that have not got multi-millions of dollars of assets, that have gotten to 1 Bitcoin or 2 Bitcoin or 3 Bitcoin, are going to monumentally change the direction of their last name going forward. Their progeny is going to thank them for the decisions they've made. And I've got people who've got multiple millions of dollars of real estate that are not interested because it's not part of their thing. They don't know about it. They don't want to take time to know about it. That's just arrogance. It's just arrogance. And if you're one of those people who's sitting there with assets that's not taking the time to learn this, you are being arrogant and you're going to get punished for it, because real estate is not the darling investment that everyone thought it was now, which it was for the last 30 or 40 years. Listen, look, you know, the last few years, the world has been through so many different ups and downs and different things that have happened in the world. And it's taught me that most people, right, are just not worth thinking about, because most people are going to be like the cab driver when I landed back in London on a trip from the Netherlands to visit a friend of mine during the flu season. You know, we were having a normal conversation, and immediately when we talked about taking the flu shot, he basically turned into you know, basically saying that he thought everyone who didn't take it should die. Right? That's most people. Most people are just going to turn into that. And I don't want to be around most people. I don't know about you. I don't want to be around most people. I don't care what happens. I don't think Bitcoin's going to fix that, because most people with 6 months of marketing wanted to destroy half the world. Right? That's just 6 months worth of marketing. So I don't want to deal with most people. And again, my message is not going to change, but the ability to reach the goal of my message is going to change, which is going to mean that more people are more annoyed at the message that I'm saying, because they themselves cannot get to that point. They themselves cannot achieve what I'm saying, and therefore they're going to get annoyed by it. And you got to decide whether you are going to be on that side or whether you're actually going to make it work and actually get to the end goal, which is getting to that 1 Bitcoin for most people. No matter whether you've got millions of dollars of assets or whether you're working, you've got to get to that 1 Bitcoin one way or another, right? So choosing to listen to the noise, and the noise is going to get more and more, right? The noise is going to get more and more and more, because there's, again, the ETFs are going to be sucking up this Bitcoin, and it's just going to get out of reach for most people, right? So you need to figure this out. What are you going to do as the price climbs? Because the price is going to start running away from you at some point, right? Right now we got slippage in the market from GBTC, from miners selling, from all of this selling based on the ETF news that was coming out. Now what are you going to do? Are you actually, if you're not already there yet, are you going to get to your 1 Bitcoin? If you're sitting there with, you know, $1 million in Tesla positions, are you sitting there going, hey, I'm not going to put $50,000 or $40-something thousand into Bitcoin. Like, just think about the logic of risk taking. You risked all this capital on Tesla, but you cannot afford to take a small risk, a 0.4% risk on one Bitcoin after everything that's happened here, right? This is and I believe that the reason why this happens is that having enough, right, owning enough has always been the benchmark in a monetary network. And if you think and you're sitting there going, oh, you just need to get, 0.1, 0.2, whatever it is, it might be cool for you, but if you think that's going to save the world in the future that's being built, then you've let someone convince you that Bitcoin is some kind of spiritual network rather than a monetary network, which is what it actually is. In a finite monetary network, you must own enough to make an impact. Yes, you can own some and benefit from it, and Bitcoin has all those qualities, but if you're like me, if you're like, the people in the world who actually want to make a difference to the last name that they have and want to make an impact on the world that they see, well, then owning enough is very, very important in a monetary network. So I don't know what you'll be doing as these ETFs continue to gobble up this Bitcoin. They're hoovering up 10,000 Bitcoin a day. Right? And we're about to approach the halving where the 900 Bitcoin a day that are being mined is going to cut back down to 450 Bitcoin a day. So this is again, an urgent message that is running out of time, that is becoming irrelevant for most people. And so I don't know what you'll be doing during this year, but for me, I'll certainly be focusing on building a community that's based on quality, experience, and like intention. That's what I want to do. I don't want to sit here and tell you that, oh, every single person in the world matters to me. They don't. If it did, they just don't, right? Not every single person in the world matters to me. I think Bitcoin is a technology which every single person in the world has the opportunity to actually escape the financial subjugation that they've been put under. But to me, to the people that I want to allow into my life, to the people that I want to invite into my life, it's going to be people who are quality people who've got experience and who are like intentioned for the vision that we all see in the world. But ultimately, despite all of that, you need to decide what you're going to do. But after you've decided what you're going to do, just remember, there's always only 3 rules to Bitcoin. Step number 1, you buy Bitcoin. Step number 2, shut the fuck up. And step number 3, you get fabulously wealthy.